film begins with a computer engineer named Coquine, who is a sitting person who lives alone with his sick dog. Does not move from his place. When he calls the vet to know the results of the dog's test, he learns from the doctor that unfortunately his disease has no cure. So Coquine is forced to think of a way to kill the dog in order to have mercy on him from his suffering. So he injects a poisonous substance into his food in order to kill it without pain, that he is weak and can't give it to the dog. But with her daughter Betty knocks on him, and so he allows her to see the room. And she really likes it and rents it from him. When she arranges the room, she finds a set of pictures of Coquine with his wife and daughter, and it is clear that they are happy. She prepares dinner for him on the roof of the house on the occasion of his birthday. So Berta tells him that her little girl does not speak because of psychological trauma. Then Coquine notices Betty's interest in his dog, and it appears that the dog also loves her so much that he began to stand on his injured legs and move towards her. And then the scene makes Coquine break down crying. Coquine spends most of his time with the devices he repairs, and once he heard a strange sound coming from the wall of his neighbor. So he approached it and put his earphone on it to hear better. And he actually heard a group of people talking. In order to hear everything they say and understand what they are doing, he plants a microphone in the wall, connects it to the computer, and records on his own as long as he is not present. After dinner, Coquine comes back to hear what was being recorded, and the sound is somewhat unclear, but he can know their names. And it is clear that they are waiting for him to come out of the basement, and then they will complete their work. And they know that he went out when they hear the sound of his elevator. And Coquine decides to make a small hole in the wall and plant a camera in it so that he can watch them with sound and image. And he sees them as they dig a tunnel. Then he realizes that they are planning something dangerous. And then he tries to let Berta and her daughter walk out of the house because he is afraid for them. But Berta gets angry and says that he wants her to walk because he loves her and is afraid of them getting close to each other. She gives him until the second day to think about his decision before he throws them in the street. And Coquine watches them all night through a camera and knows that they only work at night. And then he tells Berta that he thought and decided that they would not walk. And he asks her after she finishes to come down to the basement because he wants to show her something. When he goes down to the basement, he plays the recording from yesterday, and he can know all of their names. Then he notices that they are planning something big. Suddenly, while he is happy, he notices that there is a woman who went down to their boss. And he is surprised that this woman is Berta, and he knows that she is in a relationship with their boss. His name is Garrido, so he understands that she made the room for him to watch him and tell them about his movements. And Berta calls him to go down to him, but he tells her not to go down and that he will go upstairs with her. Then Coquine finds out about their plan and that they are planning to rob a bank next to them with some buildings. When Berta goes to the supermarket, Coquine notices that the girl is talking to the dog, even though she doesn't talk at all. So he decides to plant a recording device in the dog's collar so that he can hear Betty's words. Goes back to watching the videos that the camera filmed. And he sees the thieves while they are bringing a small car in order to transfer the money in it. After that, they beat one of them because he sent a message to his girlfriend from his mobile phone and told her where he was. And Garrido tells him that he exposed the operation to danger, then hits him with a screwdriver in his leg. Then hits him with a hammer in the head and kills him. And Coquine is shocked by what happened and he won't believe that they killed one of them so easily. After that, he goes to Berta, and they drink together and talk. And when she gets drunk, he gives her an anesthetic injection to make her sleep. And he tells her that he knew everything about their plan and tied her to the bed. And then he goes back to hear the thieves and knows that there is a corrupt policeman involved with them and provides them with the information they need. The second day, he goes to Berta, who has passed away, and finds herself tied up. And she tells him that they are good people and do not harm anyone, so he makes her see a video of Garrido killing his friend. Then she is shocked by the scene and knows that she was deceived in it. Then Coquine decides to make a hole in his house and steal money from the gang while they are transferring it. Then he really starts making the hole at the time when the gang is not there so that they don't hear the sound. When he returns to watch them, he realizes that there is a problem facing them, which is that there is a large water pipe that blocked the way to the tunnel. At this time, Coquine decides to go down and explore the tunnel, and he will make a sponge cover and stick dirt on it to show that he is part of the tunnel. And then he will see the water pipe that blocked the way. At that time, you will find that one of the gang has entered the tunnel, so he quickly hides from him and returns home again. But he is surprised that Betty is not there, so he goes down to the basement quickly, looks for her and sees her through the camera, and discovers that she came down from the tunnel and came out from the other side at the gang. Then the gang returns to the basement. They hide in the house under the stairs, and at that time an old man named Goodman arrives. And we know that he is their leader, and the one who moves them will be the head of the police station in the city and give them a paper with a storage that they will steal and the storage that is connected to alarms. The most important thing is that the explosion of the bank floor is at the time of the fireworks, so that no one notices the sound. Then they all leave the basement. And Betty returns to Coqueen's house again. Then the first time he sees her, he keeps hugging her because he was afraid of her, and he meets with her foreigner that she took from the gang. Coqueen tells Berta that her daughter is talking and reassures her and tells her that he will stay with them and protect them, and asks her to respond to Carlito because he was calling, and she tells him that everything is going well, and she really does that. The day the operation is carried out, Coqueen moves ahead of the gang, goes down the tunnel, and decides to move the explosives from the bank's floor and put them on the water pipe, because he wants to drown them. After that, he reaches into the bank and breaks the floor of the safe and starts collecting money from the boxes and returns to the tunnel again. But as he moves, he meets the gang who went down the tunnel, so he is forced to go back again to the bank safe, and at this time they detonate the bomb. And the tunnel is filled with dust, so he takes advantage of the situation and goes back to his house and closes the hole. The gang arrives at the safe and they start collecting money in the bags. They notice that the tunnel has water, though one of them goes to see what the source of the water is and finds that the pipe exploded and the tunnel is filled with water. Then two of the gang are locked in the safe, and their colleague dies in the tunnel by drowning. So he took the bag of money and dropped everything on the hall in the basement, up to make sure that Berta was still sleeping. But she attacked him and tried to tie him to the bed. Then he hit her and gave her an anesthetic injection so that she could sleep, and he left her and went down without tying her. And then he went to the shower so that the police would not suspect him. And when he leaves the house, he finds that the police are everywhere. Then he tells them that his house has flooded. Women comes to him with the officers and asks them to search his house. So Coqueen tells them that the basement has been flooded with water, and he does not know the reason. After a while, he comes and claims that they are from the police, and that they want to search the house again. Although Coqueen knows them, he lets them in so as not to make them feel that he knows everything about them. At this time, Coqueen sends a message to Goodman so that he will come home immediately. Goodman calls Carlito and informs him that the drug dealer's safe has been stolen and that if the things in it are not returned, they will all be in danger and he may kill them. And then Carlito asks Coqueen what flooded the basement, so he tells him that he spoke to the police and told them that he did not know anything. The police concluded that there was a tunnel under the house, and he asked him if anyone was with him in the house. So he told him that there was one woman and her daughter, but they left. The girl goes out and Carlito sees her, that Coqueen is deceiving them, that his words are all lies. And he takes him and they go to Berta's place and find her drugged and fall on the chair and beat him until he confesses everything that happened. At this time, Goodman arrives and calls Coqueen to let him know that he has arrived. At that time, Carlito opens the door and is suspicious of him. Asks why he is calling Coqueen's mobile, so he tells him that he is the one who asked him to come. So Carlito decides to kill them all. But at that time Coqueen calls one of the gang members by his name and pretends that they know each other and asks him to confess the agreement between them. Shakin said he agreed with him that they would dig a hole and rob the bank before the time of the gang robbery, and their friends was shocked by Coqueen's words, and he tried to deny all his words and tell them that nothing of this happened and that it was the first time he spoke to him in his life. But Coqueen confirms his words by saying to him all their names and surnames, and Carlito sees his watch, which he forgot here, and at this moment their colleague understands that there is no escape, and that even if he does not do anything from all this, none of them will believe him, and then he will take out his gun and kill his colleagues. But Carlito is faster than him and kills him. At this time Berta wakes up and takes a gun from the ground, and she kills Carlito and takes her revenge on him for what he did to her daughter. And Coqueen points the gun at Goodman, but Goodman knows that he admires his intelligence and that he will help him hide the corpses for half the money. Coqueen tells him that he has videos of him with the gang, and at that time Goodman tells him that he is not interested in the evidence he has, and he was eating the biscuits of the dog that Coqueen put poison in, so he wanted the dog to die in peace. And that if he did not take the money, he would kill Berta and her daughter, so Coqueen would have to let him take the bag and leave. On the way, the poison works on Goodman, and he causes an accident. Then the corpses get out of the car, and he also dies. A few days later, Coqueen sells the house in order to pay off his debts and move with Berta and her daughter to a new place. And then they decide to continue their lives together. The movie is over. I hope you like it. If you want to follow us and see the rest of the movies, please subscribe and activate the bell.